Are there marketing tasks that need to be done for your company, but you just don't have the time or enough people to help? Do you hate managing social media? Are you curious about starting a podcast? This episode is hosted by the founder of GetLeverage.com, Nick Sonnenberg. Leverage is a premier marketing platform that pairs you with a team of experts for any big or small project that you want to outsource. On this week's episode of the Leverage Podcast, we're bringing you part 2 of Nick's talk with Suzy Batiz, founder of both Poopouri and the Super Natural brand. They continue their conversation around the relationship of energy and money, plant-based medicines, and personal development. This October 16th through 18th, Nick is hosting the next Bullseye event with Lee Brower in Denver. This event is for truly successful entrepreneurs who are looking to take their businesses to the next level through identifying their direction and learning the tools to help them get there. There are limited seats left, so if you're interested, email Nick at getleverage.com with workshop in the subject line for more details. Enjoy the episode, and don't forget to rate and subscribe on iTunes.
So I go to this hypnotist, and I'm telling him, my woe is me story, and he says, the problem is you have no meaning in your life. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have meaning. I have kids. I know there's a God. And he's like, yeah. And he gives me the book, Man's Search for Meaning from Viktor Frankl. Have you read that?
Mm-mm.
What? Hello.
If you came to my house and looked at my library, it's probably the opposite of what most people... What
my books are? Yeah, mine are all...
Yeah.
I haven't read any of the business books, but I've read all the personal development ones.
Yeah, mine are like math and chess books and finance books. Well, and there's a lot of... There's starting to bleed into some personal...
I'm going to go digging in that library soon.
I mean, that's all from my past life. Now, the newer books are more personal development. But
it's you better watch it. You're making it really appetizing for people out there. They're going to discover
anyone that wants to come in and just borrow a book, you're welcome.
Yeah. So anyway, this book, what was so amazing is that sort of gave me a head tilt. Maybe there is more meaning out there, right? Mm-hmm. Than I think of. So that started my whole personal journey. I've studied lots of religions. I told you I studied Kabbalah, studied Hinduism, Buddhism. I started looking back at ancient, Egyptians. I started looking through all religions. I just became fascinated with, what am I doing here? That's one of my favorite questions. What are you doing?
But you're not studying religion because you're religious. You're more spiritual than religious, right?
I'm super spiritual. Right. Yeah, but I was fascinated.
Yeah, more from just an intellectual curiosity standpoint.
I wanted to see if there's a religion. Where's this meaning? Mm-hmm. So I'm digging. I'm looking for meaning in religion, and I couldn't find it, personally. And then I went to... there was this book from Byron Katie called Loving What Is. And I remember distinctly seeing it from across the bookstore. And I'd sworn off self-help books because I'd done all the self-help shit. And I was like, and I see this book and I'm like...
We'll cut that out too.
Okay, yeah.
No, I'm just joking.
I was like, Loving What Is. And I was like, yeah, right. Okay. I'm in a crapper here.
And this is...
Byron Katie.
No. But the period of your life when this is happening is during your bankruptcy?
It was right after. And I was drinking a big bottle of wine a night, like the big one, like the big...
A Magnum?
A big Yellowtail.
Ooh. You were splurging on Yellowtail, huh? What was that, $6.99 or something?
Oh, yeah. It's gross. People are like, what? Yeah, I was drinking that every night.
Better than box wine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I was doing that every night, along with probably a joint in the bathtub. And I just wanted it all to go away, right? So I go to this workshop, and it was 10 days. And I come out of the workshop and didn't drink a single drop. I was sober completely for 9 years.
A Byron Katie workshop?
Byron Katie workshop.
Interesting.
Yeah. And what happened with that is I started taking responsibility for my life. Prior Byron Katie, I was a victim, right? And so it was two things. I was a survivor and a victim. And the amazing thing about the drama triangle is you have to have, in order to be a victim, you have to have a perpetrator. Then you usually have to have a hero, right? So it's this whole wild world that you go all the way around. Well, what happened is I started taking control. For example, my abusive marriage. It'd be easy to say I married this guy who abused me, right? That's one part of the truth. The other part of the truth is I kept going back into the abusive guy, right? So if there's a lion in the cage and I know it bites, why do I keep sticking my hand in it?
Well, was there a part where you thought you could change the lion, or?
Of course. It's all a part. But I have to take responsibility enough to go, I'm the one that keeps going back in.
Yeah.
And this is radical. People get their feathers ruffled when I start talking about this. The same thing with sexual abuse. I'm really going to get people crazy here. But I remember Byron Katie saying, did you say no? And I was like, no. And somehow I found power, if that makes sense. Like it became empowering to me. And I just became curious. Like, how can I keep claiming responsibility for what I've created in my life and keep removing the barriers?
But couldn't saying no be in two forms? Like, you could vocalize and say no, but you also internally could be saying no. You probably internally...
I was 100% saying no internally, but I didn't.
But externally you just weren't.
Right. And then unraveling, why wouldn't I say no? And there's a lot of people, and you're right, you know, I was programmed, conditioned, I don't want to be hurt, love, you know, I want to stay safe. But what happens is those mechanisms get kind of screwed up.
Yeah.
So I became a scientist almost in looking at personal development, going, how was I programmed and how can I deprogram, which is why I got into plant medicine so early. And that's why I'm fascinated with deprogramming ourselves. Because, and it's nothing, I've done a lot of stuff in my life that I'm embarrassed, and I used to be, and it had a lot of guilt and shame. And but when I look, we're all really just doing the best we can do at any given moment, you know, based on that programming.
Yeah.
So even dinner the other night. I mean, we really are.
Yeah.
And I know that deep down. But anyway, so I just became a warrior for this internal state of being. And because once I felt it and tasted it, it's almost like that meditation person that can go sit for years until they reach that enlightenment. I'm doing it a different way, and mine is to just keep removing any blockages, which is why I've drank ayahuasca, you know, almost 100 times. Other plant medicines. It's like I want to do anything to remove whatever is keep holding me back.
Yeah, for me, the most important thing is to always feel like I'm growing, and
That's it.
you know, whatever it is, intellectually growing, learning about myself more. So I've never tried ayahuasca. I want to do that at some point.
But here's the thing. I've had a lot of stuff that's been in my body.
Yeah.
Look at the long-term effects of alcohol. My dad died of alcoholism. So that's the reason I'm an explorer. I'm like, I've seen what that does. Mm-hmm. That's crap.
Yeah.
You know, it destroys your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I agree. It's true, but I'm an experiment. I want to be an experiment.
Yeah.
But anyway,
well,
so
my mom was addicted to Vicodin and drinking a bottle every night. Didn't die from alcoholism or anything, but
my mom was on pain pills too.
It's the absolute worst. That shit is absolutely terrible. It's so addictive.
Yeah, it's really.
It's like a different person when they're on that
stuff. Yeah, it is. I spent years doing that. But I think that's also why I'm passionate. So I talk about removing the programming, but it's also in order for me to feel more. So there's a thing I tell people. I'm like, you can be successful. What I wanted to do is feel my success. Do you
feel successful now?
Oh God, I'm talking like I get taken down on my knees. I'm not joking, like bawling. So you want to talk about, can I feel it? Like when you really feel the abundance and have that level of gratitude, how many people can really feel at that level?
Yeah.
And that's my goal. Like I just get like, my heart is blown wide open when I tap into just the goodness of everything and everything that's happened. So yeah, I feel it deeply.
That's amazing. It's amazing though that you're lucky that you can feel that success, because I think a lot of people, they kind of get to the top of a mountain and they don't celebrate or feel successful. They just look at the next mountain and don't ever get to feel that.
But that's why I've been passionate about deprogramming, so I can feel again, because we all feel when we're little, but we block it.
So rolling back a little bit here, so you you realized after this Byron Kate experience that you need to focus on personal development and remove on blockages.
That was my only goal.
So even from the very beginning of Poopouri, you were spending a lot of time on personal development, taking time off to go on down to South America on...
Yeah. I told you I would leave my company for 2 weeks with no cell phone, no Wi-Fi, and they didn't know what they were doing.
That to me, I mean, everything that you say is impressive and like jaw-dropping, but for me, just having gone through launching a startup and all the pain, and it's like you constantly feel like the Titanic is sinking, to just from early on, say, know what, this is the most important thing to me. I'm going to go and take 2 weeks off. I don't know how you did that.
Yeah.
I couldn't have imagined myself doing that.
Yeah, I think that it's because that's my only goal.
Yeah.
Is to reach my highest evolution. I just happened to have had a great idea, and so it's like, here you go. And I think you met Jeanette. I mean, she's adorable, right? But she was like, we had no idea what we're doing. I'm like, yeah, I know, but you're fine. And you just figure it out, But that has always been my goal, even now.
So, do you think that's a big thing that most people are missing? Is they're so focused on their business being successful or overly trying to optimize to make money, and they're not taking a step back and optimizing themselves, and that would actually be the most efficient way for them to get to that point, but they're just so stuck in the weeds?
100%. Yeah. It's actually because it's more fulfilling as well. You can feel along the way. You get to really create really incredible. So another thing that's happened as I've been building my company is our family. Our family's journeyed a lot with medicines together. And if you have to look at, so I built the company, so there's a lot of family dynamics. We had a very dysfunctional family. My boys were raised in a dysfunctional, or I was in a dysfunctional marriage abusive marriage when I had them. And if you look, I was always struggling. There's a lot of dysfunction there. So a lot of that has to be healed. So what I'm most proud of my business is, sure, I'm one of Forbes' richest, women, but also my family is amazing and loving and strong. I've got to heal a lot of really family lineage of poverty, right? So a lot of that generational poverty has been broken. Generational dysfunction is starting to be broken with me. And I looked at my daughter not long ago, and she's 25, she's living in Brooklyn doing the thing. And I said, honey, I said, look at you. At 25 years old, I had 2 kids. I was in an abusive marriage. That shows you what's possible in one generation. Mm-hmm. She's doing EMDR. She goes to therapy. She's like the most beautiful soul. And I'm like, that can happen. Well, yeah. And you can do it while you're building an amazing business. And also, you can have it all.
I mean, you've done an amazing... my parents are divorced. They don't talk. I am just, I don't know, floored the fact that we had dinner the other night. Your ex-husband's there. Actually, in your house, you have pictures of the two of you still together. It's unbelievable to me that you could be married to someone for that long, and in a short period of time, you've been able to maintain a friendship, and you had that level of maturity and... I guess you valued.
I value, yeah.
You stick to your values is really like the theme here, isn't it? You have some principles and you don't compromise on those.
I do not compromise on those. And when I do, I feel it internally. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for recognizing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the principles?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I don't know if I've ever even put them into words. Really... integrity. That word integrity is a straight line, and I can feel when I'm out of integrity, and I'm a master of cleaning up, I really am.
That's why you hired me to clean up all your
Exactly.
emails. How does it feel?
Exactly. It feels so good. It feels so good. He's actually genius. Hire him if he'll come. But it was such a relief for me. But yeah, I've learned how to. I haven't learned. I make less messes, but I've learned how to be meticulous about cleaning up whatever rises that I need to clean up.
Yeah.
And whenever I clean that up, and I'll give you a really kind of a wild example. I was sick last year, and my mentor says, if you're sick, see what has been going on for you that you've not, usually it's a secret, you haven't disclosed. And my stomach still drops on this one. What I realized, what I remembered is that my ex-mother-in-law, the one that, remember I told you, that tried to kill me and, hit me. Like really, it was a lot of drama in my abusive marriage. This one, I was escaping it. I turned her into the IRS because that's the only leverage that I had. And I thought of that, and I was like, oh my God. And I knew I was going to have to call her. So I called her. And I can't tell you, I was shaking.
So you called the person that threw a hit on you.
But I had to clean up my stuff because I still felt guilty for doing that. So I'm shaking on the phone, I'm bawling, and I'm like, I won't say her name, but I'm like, I've got to tell you something. Her voice drops like 4 octaves. I'm sure thought I was going to tell her she's a horrible person. And I said, I did this to you like 30 years ago. And I still get teary thinking about doing it.
Oh, so you did that before the whole hit thing?
I did it during the time.
Oh, okay.
During that time. But
so you were retaliating a little bit?
Yeah, I was retaliating a lot. That's the only leverage I had, right?
So did she go to jail or anything for that?
No, but just got audited. It was just a pain in the ass.
Okay,
The point is I felt guilty.
Gotcha.
Right? Because I have
So you released this guilt.
I released this guilt, but I'm calling her, and I was terrified. I was shaking. I'm crying. And she starts laughing. And she said, first of all, I've never known anyone, and she's like, 80 now. She goes, I've never known anyone that would have had the courage to make this call. She said, and secondly, we all do things that we feel bad about. And she kind of started trying to apologize. And she said, thirdly, I want you to know I love you.
So do you think that phone call is what lifted the hit that she had on you?
Well, no, that was years ago. I don't think it was still going on.
Oh.
You thought it'd been that way for 30 years?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, no.
We were having Suzy story time last night, and you're talking about a guy that jumps up on a table, takes a Polaroid, and runs away. I'm like, holy shit, that is literally the scariest thing I've ever heard in my life.
But can you imagine calling this woman? But what I'm meticulous about is cleaning that shit up when it surfaces, no matter what it is. Like, like I've been in gnarly stuff that I've told people where I literally throw up in a bucket. But I know if it stays within me, like I'm not in integrity with myself. Mm-hmm. That's where disease comes from. But I don't do it for health. I do it for my energetic hygiene.
Gotcha.
So that's my principle is energetic hygiene. Keep it as clean as possible.
And don't compromise for stuff that...
And don't compromise. And when I do, go back and clean it up, because I make mistakes. I'm human a lot. I'm human.
Well, I respect...
We just stop there. I'm human. And I'm not perfect, and I won't be. I'm okay with that.
Just having been a guest in your house for the last few days, I've seen your morning routine that you don't compromise on. Do you mind sharing kind of how your mornings go?
Yeah, I have my tea and I meditate. That's what I do. And then I either work out, I do yoga, you saw that, or I work out.
But it's like a few hour ritual that you have in the mornings. Most people are not gifting themselves that gift every day.
Yeah, I have to. And I do think that the more you clear your energetic state, the more your game's bigger, that you don't have the luxury for being sloppy. So I have to really center myself, balance myself. If not, things can go wiry really fast.
But do you think that like when Poopouri was early stage that you could have afforded a 3-hour morning routine?
Well, I was taking 2 weeks off at the jungle. But before I did my video, we were doing $8 million a year. And I told you I was making a couple $1 million in profit. I had a great little business, and I was taking 12 weeks a year on Maui, not counting my jungle time.
Okay, so
I was working probably 6 months a year as I was building this company.
But what about like in the first year when it's like you're still less than $1 million? Like, are you still doing a 2-hour morning routine during that time?
I wasn't doing 2 hour, but I was definitely meditating, and I was meditating and doing yoga every day.
And were you not doing more because the company needed you and you just couldn't afford time-wise? Or is it that you developed a deeper respect for how important it is over time?
Yeah, I developed a deeper respect.
So like knowing what you know now, if you went back in that first year, would you have had longer morning routines, for instance, or worked less hard that first year and been even more focused on personal development?
I think so. Yeah, because I was trying to balance it all.
Because I find that
But it's all
tricky.
perfect.
Yeah.
It's all perfect.
Because it's so, like, when you're a stressed out founder and, like, things are not working out well, it's the first thing, at least in my mind, that goes is, hey, I'll not go to the gym today because I need that hour to, like, respond to emails or something like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the belief, right?
Yeah.
But if you really look at it, like, I remember one time coming back from the jungle, and I think I may have told you the story in Suzy's story time, and I was sitting at my desk, and something really scary happened. And I remember with this thought, like, oh my God, I'm in ceremony, right? So I'm in ceremony. And what I realize is it's all one big ceremony. And if I can think about business like that, and if every solution I've ever came up with, I told you about being in a panic situation and then meditating and coming up with the perfect thing after 2 weeks of, scrambling and not sleeping. But the solution came to me in rest. So I've learned to stop. And that's when I get these amazing insights and downloads. When everything in me wants to go forward. Everything in society wants, we're all running.
Yeah.
It's like, can we slow down?
Well, that's why I suggested that book to you, Wait, because it's all about
I need this book.
the benefits of everyone's wanting to go faster and faster, and the benefits
Yes.
of sometimes slowing down.
And being a 10 and quick start,
Yeah.
like that. I mean, do you want to talk about fast? Dude, I'm fast.
Oh, you should have seen your sales team. I guess they're all probably quick starts. I was saying things, and before I could finish the sentence, they're already creating Slack channels. I'm like, all right, guys, what's the Colby of this room right now? And they're like, we're quick starts.
Exactly. Like they're going. They're
Yeah.
doing it. Yeah. No research needed.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. Yeah. So I'm super fast. So these things help slow me down so that I can, it's like having what happens is, it's really funny, when I met Gay, he says he only works with Ferraris. And he told me, like, I'm a Ferrari. And I am. Like, I operate at a very high level on all areas of my life. And when you're a Ferrari, it takes special care.
Yeah, you
Right?
got to maintain that thing.
You got to maintain it.
You
That's the
have to
reason my
have-
health is impeccable.
You
Yeah.
got to have special eye masks and special cold spoons to put
100.
on your eyes, and inside joke.
You do.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot.
yeah.
Yeah. I remember, I told you
Comes
when
with a cost out
when I
Ferrari.
met Dave Asprey, I was like, dude, I was biohacking before it was cool.
Yeah, I wonder how much your pee is worth every time you go to
It's
the bathroom.
very
It's probably
expensive.
super.
You've seen it.
No, I haven't seen your pee, but
Like,
I've seen-
I meant you've seen
that
my
would be weird
vitamins.
if I saw your pee. That would be kind
That
of
was
weird,
a
but
whole
yeah.
other Suzy story time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, so what I'm passionate about letting people know is that we are all energetic vibrations. Your business is energetic vibration. Pay attention to that. Your energy is your most valuable form of currency. Money comes when you're in an aligned energetic state. Abundance happens. There is nature involved. This is not woo-woo. It's just the way it is. You make clear decisions. I'm sure there's some probably really great, you're in tune with your intuition more. And you're going to make better choices and less mistakes.
So how does one improve their energy or be aware of their energy? Meditation, I guess, and you do TM.
Yeah.
So what and we talked about ayahuasca and plant medicine, so I guess
Yeah, and that's not the be all end all, but
that's part of
it.
Possibly some people's.
Yeah, I have coaches. You've seen I have
Yeah.
0 business coaches. I just talked with JP today. I come down with my puffy eyes because I've been crying. He's my heart coach. He keeps me connected to my heart.
Yeah.
These are my values in life, right? And EMDR, hypnosis, if you're able to be hypnotized. All of these things really help clear your energetic state. You just want to remove any blockages. And the biggest thing you can do right now, if you don't want to jump into therapy, is just drop the shit that's weighing you down. Notice after meeting with someone, notice after a dinner with someone, do you feel better or do you feel worse? And if you feel worse, then stop doing that.
I've held on to people on my team for way too long. And if I would have just ran that filter through, like, hey, I just did a Zoom with this person, how do you feel? And it's like, if you constantly are feeling worse, just energetically.
Yeah. But here's the thing that's awesome about that I fail to forget too, because I still have people like that, because they're nice and sweet and, whatever.
You can justify it a million different ways, right?
Yeah, but the thing is there's no way one person can be resonant and the other person's dissonant. It has to be dissonant on both sides, right? It's just one person's not facing it. So someone has to pull the plug there, and you do it for yourself, so that you can protect your energy. And there's nothing wrong with it. You're also saving that person. They're not in their genius if they're frustrated, So, that's the number one thing you can do is just drop the shit that's weighing you down and start turning more towards stuff that lights you up and turns you on.
Yeah.
That's it, period.
Yeah.
And then you can that's all my abundance course is about. And then you can start layering in more advanced tools, the plant medicines if you want, and EMDR, all of them, what I've done. But I'm ambitious, and I'm serious.
What haven't you tried yet in this journey that's like on the bucket list of things that you want to try?
Well, what's interesting, and I hate to say this because I'm probably going to hold myself accountable, but I've been fascinated with that Wim Hof stuff.
I've been into it too, but I am such
a
wuss.
Go? I know.
With cold. Like I must have.
It's because we have no body fat. I have more body fat than you.
No,
but
you have no body. I think that I must have some type of condition because like anytime I go on a cold thing, it's like 2 seconds and I'm out.
But that's why I'm interested, because I am such a diva with temperature.
Same. All right,
so bad.
I'll do that with you.
Oh God! Right. See, I knew I was going to have to do this. I think I'll freak out. We could both quit, but at least we could try.
100%.
100%. But that has been a little bit because
everyone swears by that.
It seems so horrendous. I'm like, could I do that? I don't even know if I could do it. I really don't. That's the only thing I don't know. That I've never done.
What about something like ibogaine or...
I'm not interested in ibogaine. I don't think it's kind to the brain. So I don't want to do that. I've done 5-MeO, DMT, which is amazing.
That's the toad thing.
That's the toad. I've not done combo. That's the toad where it burns and you just throw up and it cleanses your gallbladder. So I'll do that in the next few months. It's the only thing known to cleanse your gallbladder. So that feels good.
Let me know how that goes for
feels
you.
Good.
Yeah.
Supposedly you swell up.
Sounds awesome.
Sounds great.
Sign me up for that.
I will have a really clean gallbladder.
Yeah. I've been looking for gallbladder cleanses, so this is...
Have you?
No.
Oh, I was like, well...
No.
No, they're actually studying it. Yeah. So I've not done that. There's not really... I have a lot on my bucket list, I've... But I'm an explorer. So who knows what's around the horizon. I am first and foremost an explorer. You heard some of Suzy Explorer stories. I just want to check the box. It's not that I want to take deep dives anywhere. I've done deep dives with ayahuasca just because, it's so beneficial. But I'm just more interested in like, can I go there? And then what happens?
Do you have any phobias?
Really, snakes are probably... I don't love snakes.
So part of this like self journey is not for you to get in a room filled with snakes and like get over your phobia of snakes?
No. I'm cool with
You're
that.
cool just keeping that phobia? All right.
I'm cool with just staying away from snakes.
So you don't have to break through everything. You can leave some shit there. And
Like,
just,
why would I want to be okay with snakes?
I don't know, say you're on the show naked and afraid somehow. Like, that's going to be problematic for you.
It'd be problematic. I would be more worried about being naked on television than I would the snakes.
No, you have a good body. They blur it out. You're fine.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, we can blur. They have the blurring. No, but, yeah, I haven't done that. You know what I haven't done that's on the horizon? I've not really surrendered to love. We talked about it.
We talked about that.
He's been trying to diagnose my
Yeah,
love life.
something was. It's just so weird. I mean, you're an attractive woman. You're super, super smart. You're successful. You're interesting, which is even more important than most of the other stuff. What the fuck is going on here?
I know. I've just
Maybe one of the listeners right now is going to... Why don't you just describe... Oh, you can't describe it because there's no pattern. That's what we established.
There's no pattern.
The only pattern is if you have a pulse and you're interesting... No, I'm just joking.
Yeah. If you're truly interesting, you have to be an explorer. You have to be able to meet me.
Yeah.
And you
have to have a good game. That was another thing. We went through some of the game of some of the past ones. You have to have some
really
suave
good game.
A little bit.
Yeah.
You have to be interesting and not predictable, I think.
Yeah.
And probably has to make you grow and challenge you and not be intimidated by your success.
Yeah. But I think, absolutely. So anyway, that's my list. If anybody wants to call.
This is becoming a love sales letter pitch.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.
I'm your guy.
What if you find someone from this?
That would be great. I'd love you forever. But that's what I've not done.
Is it because you're shut down from the idea? Like it hasn't worked in the past, and maybe like the subconsciously.
In theory, I'm open, but I'm not sure I'm really open. And that's what this has been my process. This past 2 years, I've been looking at relationship dynamics and how they're formed, and really, so I feel that I will be open, and that's probably scarier than Wim Hof. Wim Hof. That's probably scarier than that. So we'll see.
All right. Well.
That's the new area of exploration. Like, oh, shit.
You know what we should do? We should do a follow-up, like, in a few months and just see where we're at with all this stuff.
I'll be like, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
I found this love of my life.
At a Wim Hof experience, I found the love of my life. That's what's going to end up happening.
That's it. Okay.
All right.
Well, is there, like, a beginner Wim Hof that we could do? Like your toes in the water?
Like a jacuzzi?
Yeah. We do.
Yeah.
Do we really have to, like, be in the Antarctic or something? Okay.
I've heard great things about it, though.
I have too. Have you been, and I know we're going over, you can cut some of this. Have you ever been in ice cold water? Because I did it once.
I mean.
Yeah, I did it for just a second.
So I went scuba diving in a dry suit in Iceland in a glacier in between the tectonic plates.
Wait, what's a dry suit?
So it's when it's so cold and a wetsuit won't work, you have to wear a special wetsuit called a dry suit because it's like just above freezing, so the water's like 33 degrees. But you can still feel it.
You've done so much stuff. You're an adventurer.
That's why we get along.
I know, it's true.
But you have but Suzy's stories are better than Nick's stories.
It's because I haven't heard all the Nick stories.
Well,
okay, next time it's Nick's story time. Okay.
Well, if you ever launch your podcast, I can come on and talk.
That's a good point.
So yeah, that was cold water, but I was wearing a dry suit, but I was still freezing. I just don't do horribly. Have you ever been in freezing water?
Yeah, one time there was Katie Anderson and I hiked up this mountain, and there was this glacier pour off, and they say that this water is like super electric and pristine. I am not joking. It took me 30 minutes. I would put my toe in it and like scream. And then I would try to put the top of my foot in it, and it would just be numb for like hours. And finally,
like this. But you weren't wearing a suit. You were
we were naked. We actually took all of our clothes off. So we stripped down, and finally, I was like, I am not going to be able to tiptoe my ass in here. So I ran.
You got to rip the.
I ran, and the water was only probably a foot and a half deep, and I just literally went like plank. I just laid down in it. It was up in Taos. Wait, Taos?
Where's Taos?
Up from Santa Fe.
Oh, okay.
Like up in Taos, New Mexico. It was so cold, but I will tell you.
But was it a lake attached to a glacier?
No, it was up in the mountains, and it was glacier runoff that became a
Okay.
pond. So it was freezing, beyond freezing, but I felt like electricity had been shot through my body afterwards. So I do see the benefit,
100% there's a benefit.
but good
It's painful.
God. It was the most painful thing I'd ever done, probably. It was brutal. So that's the reason I know I can do it, but I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, we'll do it. We'll go.
Yeah.
And we'll podcast it the whole time.
All right.
Like we're big wussies, two wussies trying to act like I'm a diva, dude. If it is 1 degree difference in my bedroom, I'm like, it's 72, not 71. Like I'm not joking.
You're not that much of a diva. Why don't you explain how you went to Burning Man?
Oh, with a backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many people of your level of success goes to Burning Man not in a fancy RV but just shows up with a freaking backpack?
I did.
I'm here.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to see if I was supported. That's when I was working on support. And I was supported, dude. I told you I ended up with a yurt with a blow-up bed.
That's awesome.
I mean, it was all perfect.
Yeah.
So good.
All right.
Okay,
Well,
I
I
think
want to
we
be
gotta-
respectful of your time here. Where can people find out more and learn more about what Suzy's up to and everything?
SuzyBatiz.com, or follow me on Instagram, because I've been playing on Instagram myself, so you kind of always get me there. I
What's
don't know
the
how long that'll be.
What's your handle?
Suzy Batiz.
Okay.
SuzyBatiz.
It's pretty logical.
Very logical. And SuzyBatiz.com. But it's it's a little play space for me right now. Don't know how long that'll last, but right now when you DM me, you're getting me.
All right. Well,
It's just fun.
this was awesome. You're awesome. I'm so happy that you're in my life and thankful that we've been able to spend the last few days together.
Yeah, I think
And
you're great. I think you're great optimizing me.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
going to be my love coach, so he's going to
Yeah.
help me optimize my love life.
Kind of funny that like most people look at me as the automation and process person, but we're working on the love part. with
That's
you. Yeah.
well, yeah, because who cares about business, right?
We can probably automate and optimize that process if we look at it from
Do
a
you
process
think?
point of view. Yeah.
Well, the
Well, it's kind of
process
like-
is there's nothing happening right now.
No.
So
Oh, know what we could do?
what
Well, it's kind of like just recruiting and hiring, right? We could set up like an applicant tracking system.
could we?
Yeah, we could like automate the whole funnel. Like we could just look at this like a big funnel
Yes.
and like outsource like different stages, and like you're just the interview stage, which is like stage 10, and we'll just start recruiting this.
Well, speaking of that, have you ever done this for nonprofits? Optimize and help them? Because I'm on a board of Proclaim Justice, and they get wrongfully accused people out of prison. We talk about it later, but
My grandfather went to jail for 13 years and got off for murder, but then they let him off. They found him not guilty after 13 years.
see,
Yeah.
that's what these guys do,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
I volunteer for Defy Ventures, which is all about helping people transition out of prisons, and I coach them on their businesses.
Yeah, what's the girl's name who did that?
I don't know.
Oh, you don't?
No, it's called Defy Ventures is the
Yeah.
name of the organization.
Okay, good. Well, what I want to do is set up some sort of online funnel where they don't have to do a fundraiser once a year, that we can start. I don't know. I somehow
All
want
right.
to figure out how we can.
I'll help you with that.
Yeah, because they're amazing, like amazing men. Yeah, and
Cool.
they need to help more people get out of prison. It's really awful.
No, there was some crazy stat that they were saying. I guess we're not done with the podcast.
13 years. Your dad, 13
Not my dad,
years.
my grandfather.
13 years.
Yeah. We can get deeper in this on another episode, but
Yeah.
my whole grandfather's side was in like the Chicago mob, like New Jimmy Hoffa,
I knew you
all this
seemed
stuff.
a little tricky. That's how you got your smarts.
My dad was a bookmaker. The cops were staking out our house growing up.
You're kidding
Oh
me.
yeah.
Look at you. All that sordid past.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like the first one to do it, like in a legit way.
Legit.
Yeah, I'm trying to legitimize
That we
the
know
family.
of,
Yeah.
people. You're hilarious.
All right. Well,
Yeah, it was
let's
so
do it.
fun. I love you in my life.
Yeah.
You're awesome. You've
Ditto.
enhanced my life.
Let's have you back on in a few months, and we'll just do a recap and
Let's
see where we're at. Yeah.
Oh my God,
All
I'll
right.
have done Wim Hof. I will have been in love. If not, I'm a total loser.
No, you. No matter what, we know that that's not the case. But
Well, it
let's
could
do a
be, it
check-in in
could
a few
be.
months, and we'll see where we're at.
Okay,
But
great.
thanks for joining today.
Yeah, okay. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed this episode of the Levers Podcast. Leverage is an on-demand outsourcing platform that helps small business owners and entrepreneurs scale their business. We have a team of experts that can help set up marketing and sales funnels, email marketing, podcasts, social media, paid media, and much more. Grow your business overnight with a team of experts you can trust to deliver. Accomplish more. Visit getleverage.com.